Hello, here we are at this year's Eurogamer Expo.
Yep, the Bit Socketin boys are coming down to London again to cover all the games that are getting shown off here at Earls Court in London.
That's right, we're going to be playing all the games made by all the big companies that you all love. And maybe some games that you don't love, and some games that you'll downright hate.
And some pinball. This year's Eurogamer Expo was by far the biggest we've ever seen. Taking up the biggest space in the middle of the floor was the PS4 stand, which you can see in our other video, and the Xbox One stand, which we never bothered with. Sorry. There really was so much to see and do, so we missed out on a fair bit. We never even got to waste money on toys or get a shot at the pinball. So what did we see? Well, watch and find out.
As you might remember, the first time we came to the Eurogamer Expo, we got to play Arkham City. We're here now in the queue for Arkham Origins, the prequel to the whole Arkham series. Now, I'm a wee bit hesitant here because I love the other two games, and I'm a wee bit cautious here because prequels aren't the best way to go. But let's have a wee look and see if the Batman has still got what it takes. At the heart of this game, it's the game you've already played twice already. Arkham Asylum came out with just a really fresh approach to how to control Batman, and Arkham City refined that. This feels in many ways exactly the same. I mean, there's a few new takedowns and counters and things like that, but I'll be honest, if you've played the other ones, you're not going to be totally shocked by what you're going to get here. I mean, it's still enjoyable, which is the important thing, I suppose, and from certainly my point of view as a big Batman fan, not just games but actually the comics, from what I played it was very enjoyable. For me it's more about maybe moving it on. Arkham Asylum came up with a great idea and Arkham City kind of blew that up, made it bigger and refined it. This is really going to have to prove that it can follow that, otherwise it's going to be a fairly good sequel but maybe nothing that's going to kind of blow your mind. I also got a quick shot of the new Batman game on the Vita as well. Now this is one I was quite looking forward to, actually a wee bit more than the home console version, and to be honest with you I was a wee bit disappointed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks great, but the combat itself seems to be a bit lacking. What was great about the kind of core Arkham Asylum and Arkham City fighting style was you were kind of fighting one guy and then you're suddenly dashing across the other end, and there's a lot of movement, a lot of fluidity, and this actually felt very start-stop. Hopefully it's just an issue maybe with that build, but to be honest with you, it's made me a wee bit sceptical about whether or not it's worth buying both of them.
Do you think that Batman is a sexy man?
He's the sexy man. That was his original name in the comics, was Sex Man. The problem was Sex Man hung about with Sexy Boy Man, and it was, it was good, but it's illegal now.
A couple of months ago we did JRPG month, as you'll remember, and I made a video that I get slagged off for, where I talk about how much I love Final Fantasy XIII. Now this year is Lightning Returns, which is the third game in the Final Fantasy XIII series, and even though I'm being a bit apprehensive about it because of the way that Lightning's portrayed in it, I still want to give it a shot and just see how it plays, so here we go. Here's a surprise for you. I really enjoyed what I played in this game. If you didn't like Final Fantasy XIII, you're probably not going to like this, but for me it works. The fighting system is an adapted version of 13's, with you changing the role that Lightning plays on the fly. She's by herself in this game with no teammates, so you've got to flip between magician, healer, fighter and all that on the fly. It's action packed, but it still has a basis in JRPG turn-based fights. I also loved running about the level that was shown off in this demo. Lightning is a bit more acrobatic under your control now, jumping, flipping and climbing around the place, where before the environments were just backgrounds.
As the Savior, you have to help him, bring him salvation and release his soul.
No one is gonna stop me.
What I'm still not convinced about is the costume changes though. I like that Lightning has to change roles to fight in this game because it opens up a whole new layer of tactical depth. But does she really need to change costumes to do it? The magic costume in particular just looks a bit fan-servicey, which is a shame because it really goes against Lightning's characterisation in previous games. Whatever, it plays well. I just hope that the costume stuff doesn't get in the way of me enjoying the game when it comes out next year. Well, that was Lightning Returns, and as expected, it's a bit more action-packed than the rest of the Final Fantasy games, and that's not going to win any favours with the Final Fantasy fans, or indeed the people who are no longer Final Fantasy fans. But it's enjoyable. It's a great wee game. The only problem I have with it is still the way they're treating Lightning like a Barbie doll, making you dress up and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see how it is when it comes out. It might not be as bad as I think it is, but as it is, I'm still worried. But it's a good game.
Should have went to school with him.
Those of you that might remember, we've actually covered Dark Souls at a Eurogamer Expo a few years ago, and I was awful at it. And as you might also remember, I actually did a wee review of it quite recently for our JRPG month. Here we are now at Eurogamer 2013. There's Dark Souls 2. Going to see how bad I am at this in public. Now, Dark Souls 2 is a fascinating game, especially when you think about it in demo form. In fact, there was a massive Dark Souls 2 competition going on, which essentially you got a prize, quite a pretty damn good prize if you beat the Mirror Knight. And I actually felt, I don't know, maybe these people would disagree with me, I actually felt I got more enjoyment out of it than some of the rest of them, because they all kind of rushed ahead just to fight this one guy, and I kind of spent a wee bit of time exploring the nooks and crannies. I mean, I'll be honest, I died probably far more than the rest of them, but that's because I'm a worse person. In the demo you got to pick from 4 character classes. Me personally, I just went a kind of guy with a big sword because I thought, well, why not? But you could also go your kind of typical kind of magic casting character and things like that, and it was quite a nice wee sample of each. Though I think the one problem with the demo was, as far as I could tell, is once you picked your class, that was you set. It'd been quite nice to be able to kind of back out of that and try some of the other classes, but to be honest with you, I think if I'd done that, I probably would have got lynched from the queue, who were already having to watch me die multiple times in the first room. So there you go, that's Dark Souls 2. Now, I suppose it's still brilliant because I'm still rubbish at it. If I was great at it, chances are it'd be a rubbish game. So I really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be picking up in March. I will say it's a kind of weird game to play in this kind of environment because I prefer to die in private, because I die a lot, and having a wee crowd watching you, it's a wee bit tense, but certainly a brilliant experience and one that I can't wait to play more of.
Have a look at this is the press area here, by the way. Just in case you want to see how the other half live. One of us was lucky enough to play the Oculus Rift, weren't we? So I had to film Scott playing the Oculus Rift, so I was a wee bit jealous of him. So come on, tell us what it's like. There's
kind of caveats that come with this experience. Firstly, the game I got to play was Strike Suit Zero, which we actually played. When you're playing something like this, you want something spectacular, and a flying game where you can turn into a robot is exactly what you're looking for. But they were playing it with a joystick, and I'll be honest, last time I played by a joystick, it was probably Microsoft Flight Simulator 95 or something. You know what I mean? It plays brilliantly. The only thing was a lot of the dev kits that were being shown were all standard definition. No, I was really impressed. I think the only questions I really have, firstly, is more to do with kind of how can I get one. So do you think it's going to be big then? Like, remember in the 80s VR was meant to be the next big thing and it was shite, and then Nintendo obviously tried the Virtual Boy but I didn't feel sick at any point, but funnily enough I did speak to a couple who did feel queasy after playing it and had some issues with it. If it comes out at like a really reasonable price, which I would say you would want it to be under the price of a Vita, because when you go beyond, say, when you go over the £200 mark, you're entering into the point where, do I want this amazing peripheral, or do I want a Wii U, a Vita, a 3DS? So they need to kind of keep that price at a really good one, while of course maintaining build quality. So God knows how that'll work out, but I think it's got, I would say, an extreme amount of potential. So here we are at the indie part of the Eurogamer Expo, and we're actually talking to Steve here of Three Monkeys, who's actually shown the game Three Monkeys actually.
It's an audio adventure called Three Monkeys, and we've been working with the visually impaired community to create something where the visuals don't give you any information. It's all about the sound that comes out of the headphones.
What is it? Kind of fantasy style game? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got an open world section. We don't know how big the open world part of it is going to be in the actual game in the end, but it's very much, it's an adventure game. So you're kind of exploring it. It's a quest. The story plays a huge part in it.
This is no mere absence of light, it's a foul cursed darkness. Anybody exposed to it surrenders their humanity, becoming one of the dreaded mullows that roam the abyss. We are safe in the village.
Where can people find out more about the game?
So if you go to enterbazantia.com, or if you follow it on Twitter at enterbazantia, then you can. That's the game itself.
Scott, he's really good on you.
As you know, here at Bit Socketin we're a fan of ninjas. We played Revengeance earlier on in the year and it's one of the best games we've ever played. This one here, Ninja Gaiden Z Yaiba. It's a zombie spin-off of Ninja Gaiden and it's looking over the top. Let's give it a shot. So here's me playing Yaiba, Ninja Gaiden Z, a zombie-filled spin-off to the Ninja Gaiden developed by the folk behind that Lost Planet 3 push and the creator of Mega Man. I'm going to be honest, it's a bit of a mess. We were told this was an early build of the game and it showed. This is glitchy, buggy, basic as it can get stuff. There was a distinct lack of polish from the whole thing, but we can let that off on the understanding that these things might get fixed before the game releases. What the game already has though is a lot of charm and an immature sense of fun. It's a game that revels in its own cartoony, ultra-violent nature, giving you hordes of zombies to cut through and lots of fun things to do with them. In fact, most of the silly jokes come from chucking a zombie into the controls of a vehicle and revelling in the schoolboy humour, like this scene involving a truck, a giant pair of legs and hundreds of pairs of pants flying through the sky. It's not big, it's not clever, but it did make me laugh. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, it's rough as fuck. It's one of the dodgiest, glitchiest games I've played here. And yet I can't help but love it because it's so over the top and so ridiculous that it just wears its heart on its sleeve. And I admire that. Let's hope it actually becomes a good game though before it gets released, eh? Oh man, I'm exhausted.
And I'm not. That's because one of us is made of stern stuff and the other one is made of jelly.
Well, that's been the Eurogamer Expo 2013. Check out this magnificent view of the show floor that we've just been experiencing.
That's right, it's only a real shame that you can't experience the smell that we've been experiencing because it's pretty intense. It's a bit like being at a cheese fair.
It's been a good show this year. What do you think the highlights have been?
Highlights for me, well, Hotline Miami 2, really enjoyable, Dark Souls 2, finding out that when I spend money on the PlayStation 4 it's not going to be a complete waste. That's been quite good. How about you?
Well, 10 year man your teens. It's all about 10 year man your teens.
Probably, I'd say game of the show, which is probably not what they were aiming for, but life's hard, isn't it?
Now we've just got to drive home back to Glasgow. A drive I'm not looking forward to. In fact, just thinking about it, it's filling me with dread. I might just... Yeah, hold this. I'm away, man.
Do it. Do it.